Hello and welcome to Unpreachy, a podcast of homilies and reflections by the voices of St. John Chrysostom Parish. Today, Father Brian Zumbrum reflects on Matthew chapter 22, verses 15 to 21, the Gospel for Sunday, October 22nd, 2023.
So in Friday in class, we were discussing the concept of love and how God invites us to both be loved and to love without condition. And now I tend to run a classroom in which opinions are always welcomed, and they're usually just shouted out. We long ago forgot how hand raising is helpful in a classroom environment. So one of the kids goes, "Yo, that is not possible. Everyone's got their conditions when it comes to love, Father Brian." There was general assent among the assembled men in the room, a lot of head nodding and fist bumping. And I looked at them all and said, "Can't someone love you just for being you? For being this unique, unrepeatable gift that is each human being?" Another one goes, "Yeah, until that human being hurts you, like really hurts you, or does something terrible, like murders someone you love." And in that moment, I paused because though the student did not know it, I found myself back in a courtroom looking at a young man who had murdered my former student. And that young man's doubt and question came roaring back. Was he right? Was I able to actually love this one who most certainly did not deserve my love? The one who deserved my scorn and my hatred, my wrath and my vengeance. And in that moment, as I wrestled anew with this question that I've been wrestling with for a decade, this gospel for this weekend came to mind. To that question at the heart of this gospel, which is, whose image are we made in? For like the coins stamped of old, each of us too are stamped by this society in countless ways. We are stamped with stereotypes and expectations. We are stamped with what beauty is supposed to look like and how genders are supposed to behave. We are stamped with what determines our worth: GPA, college acceptances, portfolios and bank statements, the seeming perfection of our families, the success of our children, the popularity we accrue, the followers we possess on Instagram. But most of all, we can feel permanently stamped by our mistakes, our worst decision, our shame and our guilt, for what we've done and failed to do, for who we are and what has been done to us. Believing we are cut off from the love that is supposed to be our birthright. Is it any wonder that my students were skeptical of this unconditional power of love? That each of us is deserving of that love. Because every day, someone tells them that they're not. Someone tells us that we're not. But in the gospel, Jesus reminds us that the primary stamp upon us is a divine one. The image of a God who is love, unconditional love, stamped upon each of us and obliterating all of the other false idols that have been etched onto us over the years. Reminding us that we are loved exactly as we are, knowing there is no dark corner that light cannot reach. There is no wound so deep that it cannot be healed. There is no division that cannot be reconciled. There is no choice that cannot be forgiven. Reminding us that there is nothing we can do to be loved any less, and there is nothing we can do to be loved any more. And in turn, for this love, this unconditional love, all we are asked is to render unto God what is God's. To offer our own love as unconditionally as we can to the God in whose image we are made and to each person we walk this journey with. And so I looked to those students and I told them a story of the man who murdered my student and my attempt to still love him, even as I will never understand the choice he made, the destruction he wrought, or the pain he caused. And in the quiet of the classroom, as I held back tears that all these years later still linger right beneath the surface, a student goes, "You know, Father Brian, I'm down with that. Maybe this whole love thing is worth it after all." Amen, my brother. Amen. May God be praised.
Unpreachy is a production of St. John Chrysostom Parish in Wallingford, Pennsylvania. Visit us at sjcparish.org. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend. This podcast was produced by Brendan Lorden with music by Skytoes on Upbeat. Thanks for listening. Be well.